I've had several, so I've deployed a couple of times to Iraq and once to Afghanistan, and then in 2014 to 2015 I deployed with a Special Forces MAGTF. My name is First Sergeant John J. Miller. I'm currently the Headquarters Company First Sergeant for 1 Marine Expeditionary Force Headquarters Group, hometown of Chicago, Illinois. I would have to tell them that to stay humble, stay Marine, continue to do their job. When I enlisted in the Marine Corps, my recruiter told me that if I stayed in long enough, that I would see some sort of a deployment, some sort of a war situation, some sort of a humanitarian effort. And when I first came in, after my first enlistment, I hadn't seen that. But what I did get an opportunity to see is the Joint Task Forces, the opportunity to go down to Panama, Honduras, Lithuania, Belize, and Jamaica and build schools and build community centers and provide for these civilians in these different countries that don't have the freedoms like we have. That's a hard question to answer because there's so much that sticks out. The camaraderie, the esprit de corps, the chance to see Marines just perform their jobs and to do it extremely well and to rise above any and all occasions is probably one of the biggest things that I've experienced. The ability to just watch Marines do their jobs, NCOs to take charge, to lead patrols, to be in charge of going door to door, house to house, to kick in a door and then the next house over to provide the family with some sort of support and assistance, to show them that we're there to help them, and to watch NCOs, our young Marines, take that leadership opportunities and excel in those abilities is probably the best thing that I've ever seen. I think the biggest growing point for me is a little bit of the humility to realize and to know that you don't know everything, and to take an opportunity and talk to the junior Marines and to learn what they're going through and learn what they're dealing with to help you become a better leader so you can lead, guide, mentor, and inspire, direct, and so you can reach inside that Marine and touch their ego globe and anchor, also known as the heart that beats inside of them, to get them to push beyond their limits, to think outside the box, to understand why we're doing things. And then the growing pain that I've had was probably to just take that step back as a leader. I was brought up by my leaders as somebody to always be engaged, meaning you're always in there, and if a Marine is working, you're working with the Marine. If the Marine's got their blouse off and they're building something, or they're constructing something, or they're on a patrol, you're out there with them. And as you go out on some of these combat patrols and operations and you realize that you can't go out on every patrol, you can't go out on every operation, you can't be involved in every single project, that you have to have the trust and confidence in your junior Marines to know that they're going to do it, and they're going to do it extremely well, and they're going to take your intent and they're going to take that to a next level and really accomplish the mission. I think that what you do is you take that opportunities while you're deployed, and I've had the luxury of deploying with several different units. Prior to becoming a First Sergeant, I was a combat engineer, and with 1st and 2nd CEBs, Combat Engineer Battalions, I deployed with Victor units, and when we deploy with a Victor unit, you get different leadership, vice the same leadership that you have at your regular unit. And with that different leadership comes different ideas, different mindsets, different philosophies, and it just adds to your toolbox. And I've had the pleasure of taking all those tools from those leaders and putting them into my toolbox and using those. And that's where I'm at today, is using those tools. Where I'm at right now at MHG and with the MEF command element there, you have to use those tools on a daily basis to be able to communicate effectively with the Marines, be able to understand what the Marines are going through, to be able to accomplish the mission on a daily basis. I have to steal some comments from one of my greatest mentors, Sergeant Major Carter and Sergeant Major Skanes. They always taught me to really care and to just be there for the Marines. And if you show a genuine concern and care, and what Sergeant Major Wilson always would say is the love for the Marines, if you love them, they're gonna provide for you, and they're gonna work for you, and they're gonna have your back if you need them to do something. They're gonna work harder for you. They're gonna understand that you're there to assist them to make the right decisions. I like to tell everybody I'm kind of like a MapQuest. I'm the narrator in the MapQuest, and my job is to get you from point A to point B. But at the same time, if you veer off that chart that you had it on, then I tell you to make that legal U-turn to get back onto the right track and to make that transition back to where you wanted to be in that end state, whether you wanted to do 4 years or 40 years. That's my job, is kind of to assist you to get to that end point. And by genuinely caring for the Marines, they see that, and then they come to you with their problems, their issues, before they come major roadblocks or stops in the road for them guys. I think we just continue the transition and the stages in our elite history. We're like a championship sports team. I like to talk about the Cubs because I'm a huge diehard Cubs fan. And the Cubs right now, or the Patriots, or the Broncos, or any of the other major league sporting teams that are out there, they're in that transition phases. And you come up to the Super Bowl and you're either going to perform or you're not going to perform. And when we go into the battles, Fallujah, Al-Assad, TQ, Ramadi, Marja, when we go into those battles and we go into there and we conduct our jobs to the best of our abilities, and we come out of there and the community's in a better situation, or those people that we're trying to fight for and protect their freedoms, when they're in a better state, then we've sustained our legacy. But our legacy also isn't sustained necessarily by the battles that we fought. The legacy is set up by the Marines right now that are not currently fighting the wars, that aren't deployed. The legacy that we sustain right now is the Marines that are out there, like yourself and the other Marines that are around us, that are doing the right things, that are volunteering in the communities, that are walking the streets, and they're holding the doors open for people, and they're telling people good morning, good evening, good afternoon. They're the Marines that are going to college after working long hours of days. They're the Marines that see homeless people and they help them try to provide them with food. That's how we sustain our legacy. Sure, everybody looks at it and we train for battles, we win battles, we train Marines and we make Marines, but at the same time, everything that goes into it is part of our legacy, and we sustain that legacy by doing the right things and showing the civilian populace that we're here to assess them and to provide them with care and support.